Well, what do you know? For the first time, John using his head for something other than a target. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, KGeekXXChic, and we are back with another reaction to Halo. We're now on to episode 6, which is called Solace. So, the last episode we had a lot go down. Probably the most action that we've seen since the first episode. We basically had John really coming to a head with all of his memories, recognizing that Halsey is clearly not who she portrays herself to be to him, and him confiding in Halsey's husband about it, basically like, you know, because that's his commanding officer. And of course, once he was tipped off, he realized that things might get messy, and he then pulled Miranda off the project because he wants to try to keep her absolved from this whole situation. And in the end, the aliens went away with the bigger part of the artifact, and we see that the little traitor is on the ground and playing the part because she, of course, wants to get her hands on John. So it's getting a little bit messy. It's getting very interesting. I am very curious to find out how John and this girl are going to interact, because she clearly is anti-human. John's not going to feel the same way, but I feel like the connection through these stones is not going to be something they're going to be able to ignore, and I'm not sure exactly where that's going to take them. We also very briefly touched on Madrigal to check in on Quan and Soren. We see that Soren is trying to get them to the nearest place where they can get transport to get off of Madrigal, but Quan doesn't want to do that. She's still being very stubborn, thinking that she can somehow turn this whole thing around, and because of a very poor choice on how to handle Quan's exuberance on Soren's part, he was knocked out by her. She managed to make herself a makeshift, what do you call it, taser. And that's basically where we ended things, where she's got the option to potentially kill Soren, but I just don't think she's going to do that. So quite a few things are happening at once, which makes this very interesting, and I'm ready to jump into the episode. And before we do, you know the drill. If this is your first time to my channel, thank you so much for coming. And if you really like what you see here, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button, you know, get some comments below. It just helps to feed into the algorithm, which just helps a girl get seen, and that means a lot to me and a lot to my channel. So if it's in your heart to do, I would greatly appreciate it. And also hit that subscribe button and join the fam if you are so inclined. And the same goes for any of y'all who've been here before. Thank you so much for coming back. Please like, subscribe, comment, all those great things. Enough chitter chatter. Let's get into the episode right about now.
Aren't you the lucky one?
Wait till you remember what happened to your parents. Is that rage? Maybe that chip was not a bad thing. So I'm pretty sure it suppressed their pain.
It's gonna be okay. That's good.
Damn, they got you high as a kite.
You saved 150 lives, mine included.
Well,
more lives will be lost if we don't get it back.
You found it once. You'll find it again.
Why is it all on me? I hope y'all recognize that she's speaking that language.
You had a systems check?
No, sir, I'm fine.
I've run a systems check, and that's absolutely not true.
I'll be fine.
Very well, Lieutenant. Bring us in.
Aye, sir.
We'll
Have y'all
regroup.
been like scanning her
Come up
body
with a
for the
new plan.
secret laser finger weapons that she's got? Because I don't think... Okay.
Can it be a secret?
Don't worry, the time will come for you to punch her in the face. But not really, because you shouldn't punch women in the face. Maybe you can get Kai to do it. But they should be asking more questions. This person who's captured by the Covenant all this time suddenly just managed to drop at the exact same time that you guys lost a huge artifact. Like, come on, guys. A little deductive skills.
But his real genius was in recognizing the limits to his own intelligence. Weird, right?
Ooh, look at him shading the machine.
He built fail-safes into all of his tech, except one. The UV decontamination system.
Well, what do you know? For the first time, John using his head for something other than a target.
Do you have any idea what will happen if the sensors fail with Dr. Halsey inside?
Yes,
I do.
absolutely
She'll receive
do.
a very large dose of radiation.
Tickles
The
me.
worst part isn't the burning, it's the liquefaction.
Ooh! Big words. Multiple syllables.
Open the door right now.
No. The worst you can do is make me pass out. Let her get a few burns. She won't die for a couple of burns. Just a few. Wuss. She could have gotten a few burns. She wouldn't have died. Just would have made her as ugly on the outside as she is on the inside.
Don't get too comfortable.
Bitch.
I just needed to know your AI's limits.
Now get this shit out of my head. John, here's the thing. She deserved that, 1,000%. And I do feel like he should let her got a little injured, like, because the fact that he saved her at the end, I mean, I know, there's still the twisted mother, you know, complex he's got going on with her. But one thing he doesn't see about Halsey, and that's going to probably come back to bite him, is that Halsey's not the kind of girl who thinks like one step ahead. Okay, she thinks like 10, 15 steps ahead. So now that she realizes that John's completely off the reservation, you know she's not going to just come up with a backup plan to make sure that never happens again. She going to make sure that nothing happens, period. That's where John's not thinking it through. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he should have at least made sure she needed some hospital time, you know, so he had some time to actually maneuver with Halsey out of the way.
The committee needs results, so they'll find someone to blame.
While you have command of those Spartans, you might just want to do a little cleanup in the committee. Just saying.
Give me Captain Keys.
Aspero Star System. Everyone hear that?
Y'all, why would you not think that this might be a trap? Especially when you already know that their tech is better than yours. Okay. This is the one time I do agree with walking Siri there. I don't think you should touch it again right now. You're still recovering.
And what is your current status?
Put me down as mildly irritated.
He's like, I don't find it funny.
The committee needs a scapegoat. I'm giving them one.
Dozens, from the looks of it.
That's correct.
We purposely kept Jag out of the
program. We're virtually meeting. Why?
Don't do that.
We have to get in there and stop this.
If we interrupt him now, he's going to think we're complicit.
Margaret, we are complicit.
Right? He's like, ma'am, we already know this.
Ask.
Don't tell me what to do.
Why did you do it?
Murder my parents, you murderer.
I just have to accept that you will hate me.
Oh, you martyr.
I created the Spartans, a group who would protect us from ourselves.
Miranda, you're not authorized to be here.
But I'm here. Suck, Daddy.
Obviously, they were too young to volunteer. And their parents, well, parents don't give up their children very easily.
Why didn't you give up your own? You had one.
And the doctors would put it down to an undiagnosed seizure disorder, which was a reasonable explanation.
Yeah, that monster's your mama. I'm so sorry.
Any challenge to the status quo is always thought to be mad, bad, and morally reprehensible until people see the benefits.
Who knew?
Yep. Daddy. I need names, or I'll beat you to death.
I know that you will take us there, and when you do, we will lead
don't know me?
our species beyond its current
Actually,
limitation.
she probably does. She's been manipulating him for so long. The fact that he hasn't punched her in the face already tells me.
I'm here to solve problems. That is my only purpose. What do I do now?
Go solve problems.
Nah.
Galaxy's full of them.
Damn. The shade. He has been shading that machine all day long. Look, I kind of feel bad for Cortana because it's true. Like, you know, girlfriend was just made literally to just sit around and take orders and be really, like, condescendingly smart, like her creator. So sorry.
John.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
No. Far from it. Haven't been for a while.
Get better, 125.
Didn't answer the question.
I'm gonna need you.
Okay, y'all are like on the same team now and like that. John needed some backup anyway. And the other two are still firmly in the program, so we can't trust them.
You're handing them to Miranda.
She finally gets the promotion you'd never give her.
Bitch. Can we have a moment where Miranda actually says to her mom that I outrank you now?
A few days ago, one of our ships was attacked by a Covenant corvette, identical to the one you escaped from. The entire crew was slaughtered.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
You.
We got a transmission.
Her and Halsey are the same. You just had to show that sign of weakness in front of her, huh? Great.
Begin health diagnostic.
Dude, I mean, Cortana annoys the shit out of me too, but she already told you you're not okay, bro. And you haven't been for a while. Your body's gone through a lot of overloading in the last, 24 hours. Also got your butt kicked by an alien.
There is a reason that region has never been explored. There's nothing there. We might as well be looking into a black hole.
Black holes sometimes lead to interesting places. That's what she said. Just push one of them out the window. Standing up there judging like they do any better. I kind of like how they're showing, though, that Margaret has a lot of weight on her shoulders with this situation. It's very easy for me to be judgmental from outside, but when you're in positions of power like this, it is hard as hell to make these calls. It's never easy.
What does an artificial superintelligence do when it has nothing to do?
Figure out how to take over the world. Rename itself Skynet.
Oh, taking over for Halsey. Did she say why?
Wasn't in the brief.
Kai, toss me that grenade, would you?
She says casually about this death instrument. You know these guys are gotta be emotionally dead, because fear is natural.
Welcome, Dr. Miranda Keys. Your lab is ready.
Oh, I mean, I'm kind of happy for her because she's wanted to succeed so bad and she kept getting blocked by her mother, but I also don't think she realizes the world of political nonsense she's stepping into. And she seems to be a very altruistic person, so this is going to be very difficult for her. Look at her. I have to give her her little moment. She worked hard for this.
You kidnapped, mutilated, and murdered dozens of children.
To save billions more.
Oh,
No.
Saving humanity at the cost of your own.
Didn't I say that in episode 2? Miranda, me.
But I should have done a better job of explaining myself to you, particularly when you were old enough to understand.
Do you see what I said before? She's a sociopath.
It was never my intention to hurt you.
Don't fall for this, Miranda. But I know she will because she wants her mom to be a mom so bad. Now she's like, I wonder if that was enough of a performance. Do you think she bought it?
Did you get a good look?
I believe so.
See? I told y'all. When it comes to that woman, you need to have 16 steps of a plan. Because she has no humanity. She's been dead. Possibly since birth.
But then the prophets taught me to stop fighting.
Do you see the reverence in her eyes right now?
Surrender to the visions.
Hopefully you're figuring out that she's not a prisoner. Okay.
I can show you, John.
Please stay away from me.
Take me to the Keystone.
No. Don't do that.
You will find peace.
That part might be right. But I don't trust this chick. But I feel bad because John is obviously in an incredible amount of pain. And that's a huge motivator.
The FleetCom firewalls proved extremely challenging to bypass.
I designed them that way.
I would be happy to design
The way I don't
a patch.
care about this woman talking to herself.
No, we don't know that for sure, and I don't feel comfortable testing
Why?
you.
You said it yourself. We're the same, right? 2 in a billion, you said.
But she actually cares about you not dying, unlike Halsey.
What if she wants you to touch it because she knows it'll be killing off the Covenant's most powerful enemy?
Yes, this is why the girl's smart. She did inherit that part from her mother, at least. Not so much the sociopathology, thank God.
Do me a favor.
What's that?
Don't die.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, cute. I know what remotely happened, but I kind of ship it a little.
Something bad is gonna happen. I can feel it.
That part she's probably right about, actually. I don't think she wants John dead. That much I know. They definitely want him alive. Oh. Interesting, but now at least they know about her finger laser. Put her in a brig. Okay, what did she say about relaxing? Let it happen, Johnny. Let it happen.
He's dying.
Please let me shut him down.
No. I need to see this.
See? She's a good person. No, remember you said let go. Actually let go. Allow it to happen. Oh? Or did he die? Or did he just let go? Maybe both are true. Although with this artifact, maybe the afterlife is like some different place you get to go. Oh no, he relaxed. Good boy. You did it. He's a little slow, but he eventually catches on. No, you get out. You get out. Can you handcuff her, please? She literally almost stabbed you with a finger laser. Wait, what is behind you? That does not look natural. No, John. She's bad. Bad, John. Bad! That doesn't look like the end of everything, but maybe I'm wrong. That's never happened to her before, clearly. She looks shook.
Where'd you go?
Someplace amazing. That wasn't here? You're not going to tell us where he went? Of course not. That would be, you know, helpful. We got to wait to find out where that was. But I mean, I don't even think John knows where that was. He just literally died, hit the afterlife, and came back. Chill. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. And like I said, I don't think that, what's her name, McKee? I don't think she's experienced that before. I think she's only gotten kind of what John got when he was doing it individually at first, like just her memories. And possibly, like she said, I don't know, because the thing is, she was very young when the Covenant took her. So I don't know how many memories she would have had at the age of like 12 or 13. But what she said about like the Keystone showing her things that were beautiful and then suddenly not beautiful, that's what I'm curious about. And I'm wondering if the beautiful things are what the two of them just shared in that vision there. I have many questions. Okay, guys. Well, that was episode 6, which was called Solace. And I feel like that's exactly what we saw John finally get at the end of this episode. We're not sure why. We're not sure what caused it. We're not sure how long it'll last, but we saw that he definitely wasn't doing well throughout the episode. They definitely made sure to emphasize that he was slowly but surely deteriorating because of each contact that he had with the artifact. I think what really kicked him off, though, was the one on Eridanus, because he held on to that one the longest, and it's a lot bigger than the keystone that he had. So I think that was really the one that kind of really kicked his butt. And I do have questions around whether or not like it would have eventually, like would he have just healed up eventually if he just stayed away from the artifacts long enough, or did he actually have to go through what he did at the end of the show to heal himself or to stop the pain from happening? But this explains a lot, though, because in the last episode, I think I said that I think it's really strange that these artifacts would be in tune with John, but also causing him so much pain and taking so much out of him every time he touches it, right? It's like they're connected, but then why is it hurting him? So the fact that McKee explained in this episode that it's because he was resisting it to some degree, that's the reason why it was happening. Instead of just letting the visions come and I guess accepting it and relaxing or I guess trusting maybe that they were okay, he actually just kind of let go in the end. And honestly, I feel like he let go just because his body just basically short-circuited, right? Like we saw, like his heart rate went through the roof. They were saying he was about to have, was it circulatory failure? A bunch of things. Basically, he was about to combust. And then it was like at that peak moment, like I said, I think he just let go because there was no other choice. It was like the step before death. So when he finally did that, it stopped hurting him. And he immediately went into a state of calm. So calm, actually, that his heart rate dropped to like 50? Which is like a resting heart rate for the record. For a grown man his size, 50 is like you are laying down and chilling. So that really did calm him down. And obviously we saw that he's got a direct connection to McKee. But again, I don't know how much of it is 100, like the conversation that Miranda had about, the conversation that Miranda had about how their DNA, they share this one genetic strand between the two of them, which is unique to only them. Like apparently, like she said, 2 in a billion people would potentially have this. I think that could potentially indicate some sort of relation. Not always. Obviously, we know even today in our world that there are people who will share very unique genetic traits that are not actually related to one another. But it just feels like it's a little too coincidental. I mean, I don't know how old McKee is supposed to be. They never told us really how old John is or how old McKee is. So I don't know if they're around the same age or not, but I'm just wondering, like John still knows so little about his past and so little about his family that it's very possible that she's an actual blood relative. Maybe. It also could just be random. But I feel like the fact that they share this unique trait and the fact that both of them managed to get into contact with keystones, but the connection that they have is clearly through these artifacts, right? It's not so much because of the relation. Like, I don't think they would have found each other if it wasn't for the artifacts, if that makes sense. So that whole connection is a little bit weird here. I'm still not sure what they're going to do with it. It feels it's still weird. It's still weird for sure. But clearly I kind of called that there would be some weird connection with the two of them because they're the only two people that they know that can experience these things with the artifacts. And as I mentioned, I don't know for sure, sorry, puberty. As I mentioned, I don't know for sure that McKee has not seen that peaceful plane that John was in with her, but she seemed very shocked. Like, first of all, the seizure. I mean, I don't know if I'm trying to figure out if it's the artifact that triggered her seizure or the fact that John was going through the seizure that was affecting her, because she didn't seem to be affected with John deteriorating and being sick. Like, that wasn't affecting her. But the second he touched the artifact, oh, that's true. It's the artifact. Never mind. I keep forgetting in the last episode, that's how she found the artifact, is it gives off a vibration that she's able to pick up on. So that was the vibration that was bothering her. But interesting that, I still have questions. Sorry, I'm kind of talking through it as I'm thinking, and that's why I'm kind of all over the place. But I was gonna say that, but like when she was back on Magical and John touched the artifact back in Eridnus, she felt it. It didn't look like she was in pain per se, but she definitely was like, oh, I know where it is. I saw it. But she definitely was paralyzed. Like, you could tell she couldn't really do anything until John stopped touching it. But this time around, it's like she felt what John was feeling rather than responding to the artifact, it felt like. So yeah, the connection's still weird to me, is I guess what I'm trying to say. I'm still trying to figure out how it works. If it really does go through them both, or if it's just the artifact itself, or she's connected to John directly. But I feel like since they are both in the field of dreams at the end, that they definitely do have a connection to each other. And I don't know, like that weird kind of face stroke thing he did, it could have just been that he was trying to see if she was actually there. But yeah, I feel like he feels an interesting level of trust with her, which I have to understand, right? Like I said, neither of them has met anyone else who can do what they can do. So that's going to bind them in a way that's very unique, but I still don't trust her, primarily because she hates humanity, right? There's still something very broken about her. And right now, I think they both have very different beliefs of what this artifact is supposed to do, right? Because it looks like the Covenant believes that this is going to like somehow restore balance to the universe and take care of their enemies, aka humans. But again, I believe that I read somewhere that like the Covenant only started attacking humans like in the last like 20 years. So it's not like it's something they were doing the whole time. So yeah, I don't know if that's because of the artifacts or, something else. But the point is, the Covenant has a belief system around what it does. And then we've got John remembering this episode, what Reth said about how this thing is, meant to eradicate mankind and end life as they know it. So John, being, pro-human, thank God, he doesn't want that to happen. He clearly doesn't want the artifact to succeed in doing it. And again, I don't think he knows yet whether or not it's the artifact that will be the problem or if it's who is in control of the artifact. And since we heard this episode that McKee can control these artifacts because she's figured that out, that's a problem, right? If she can control an artifact and she's working with people who want to kill all the humans, clearly not a good situation. So there's still a lot of questions to be answered around how this Halo artifact works. Is it them in control of it or it's in control of them? Does it matter whose hands it's in? Lots of questions. And what's crazy too is that, like, I'm saying that, it'd be bad if the Covenant had it because of what they said, but looking at Halsey this episode, we're gonna get into Halsey. Like, is it really better for it to be in humans' hands? Halsey's obsessed with it. Halsey's not gonna stop until she figures out some way to use it to her advantage. So she's almost as bad as the aliens, if you ask me, because she ain't just looking to get rid of the Covenant. Like, she's looking to do a lot of other things. I feel like anyone that gets in her way, she would use that thing to do something terrible. So yeah, we've got some extremists on either side that are trying to get their hands on this artifact first. And I feel like I said, like, either side's kind of got some really, there isn't a good case for either side to have it at this point, I would say. And that's maybe why both John and McKee might have to actually somehow buddy up and decide to take care of this on their own or figure it out on their own, since both of them have factions that are using them really right now to use this thing, but neither of them really have good intentions. So outside of that, moving on, like I said, to Halsey, we got a lot more expose on Halsey and the kind of person that she is in this episode. I feel like it's safe to say, like, she is a sociopath. She really is. Like, she knows what human emotions are. She knows that she's supposed to have them, but she just doesn't really feel them. And again, I'm not saying that being a sociopath is always a bad thing per se. Not all sociopaths do terrible things. It's just that they literally struggle with the basics of human emotion. They find it very hard to feel them, or if to feel them at all. And if you could have a child and literally have little to no feeling for that child, that's kind of the ultimate level of being a sociopath. And Halsey proved that unequivocally in this episode. Like, she doesn't care about John She cares about the fact that John is the key to what she wants, right? She made that very clear in this episode. She's like, dude, like, I need you because you're the key to getting what I want. We need to go through this together, so all the terrible things I did will be justified. She doesn't give a damn about what she did, right? And that's what John kept trying to get to in that whole talk with her. He's like, do you realize what you did was awful? Do you realize how twisted and how wrong you have to be to have done what you did to all of us? And she's just like, yeah, but for millions, but yeah, but for the lives, but yeah, but for the research. Like, justification after justification after justification, right? No actual true concern, no actual true guilt. Just nothing. And even though she had like her little moments, like, you know, she protected her husband from being implicated in the situation, that wasn't really, I think, for him or because she cared about him. That was because she needs allies, right? That was her thinking, well, if I expose him and we all go to, get into trouble, I don't have the person that I need on the outside to do what I need to get done, right? So it's just like, she really has no true empathy. Like, that doesn't exist in Halsey. She's all about the results. She's all about the science. And again, I understand that passion happens a lot, particularly when it comes to scientific advancement, but it doesn't make it any less like unsavory. It doesn't make it any less just tragic. And like I said, I really felt bad for poor Miranda. Like, I think she knew deep down her mother was capable of these things, but I don't think she realized how bad it was. And hearing that firsthand account that John was recalling, and her mother just being so cold about everything she did, like, that was just like, you could see it was just hitting Miranda. Like, oh my God. Like, I knew my mom was bad, but I really didn't think she was this bad. Oh my God. Right. And that's a lot, right? What kid wants to find out that their mom is capable of really what are atrocities against children of all people, right? Most people draw the line at kids, but Halsey, out of it gets her what she wants. So that was really, like, I think hard on poor Miranda, obviously hard on John to hear the validation of that. Cause as I said before, he's got this weird mother connection vibe with her. So like, that would have shattered a lot of, I think, what he wanted to believe about Halsey as well, but he needed that. And now he knows to never trust Halsey again. I really love that part where he locked her in that room earlier too, where he almost took her out. I was like, woo, you cute when you mad, John. I'm just saying. But yeah, I think at least that is, taking the wool fully off of his eyes where Halsey's concerned. And I love that he told Kai about it too, so that she won't be trusting Halsey more than she should. Because all of the Spartans have, of course, this unreal reverence towards Halsey because of the way that Halsey designed the program, right? She wanted them to only trust each other and trust her. So yeah, it needed to be done. But of course, poor Kai, she's the only reason she was able to accept what John was saying and have the right response really was because she took the pellet out of her back, right? The other two still fully in the program. So you saw that in the end when they were doing their normal stuff and she tried to join in and then she thought, and then of course they're like, Halsey this, Halsey that, Halsey. You could see she was dying to be like, that woman's a lying. But then she kind of realized, like, I can't do it. Like, they're not ready. They're not with us. They're not in the program. Like, me and John are in a different category than these two. And for them to know the truth and get the truth, it needs to be in a place where they have the capacity to process it. And while they have them pellets in their back, it's not going to happen. But I'm glad that, like I said, that John does have backup outside of, well, Cortana's an interesting one. Like, Cortana, of course, is going to go back to Halsey, but I do think Cortana is having her own AI crisis in the sense of, I do think she wants to help John. And I mean, her existence is dependent on John keeping her in his head, basically. So I do think she's going to have a hard choice at some point, but I do think she wants to be with John. But the reason why it's hard for her is because, as we saw, John does not trust her at all and probably won't anytime soon unless she does something to prove that she's willing to go against Halsey. But that's, of course, against her core programming. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But my prediction still stands. I do think that Cortana is eventually going to turn against Halsey too. I'm just not sure what the catalyst will be to make her do that. Yeah, that was pretty much it. We didn't get anything about Quan and Soren this episode, which is fine. I feel like there was a lot that needed to be uncovered with John, with McKee, with this whole situation with Halsey. But that was a super fun episode to watch. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and we will see you in the next video.